Yeah, welcome to part 3 of the grand final edition of The Fix. We're going to quickly run through the other 3 awards that I wanted to ask you about, or the other 2 awards I wanted to ask you about. I'm not even sure whether you run through these, but Rookie of the Year, I'll ask you about those. I can actually announce right now that the nominations for 4 finalists have come through. We're looking at Kurt Tippett from the Brisbane Predators. Played 18 games. Where is he? Played 18 games at an average of 14.72 in the ruck for the Predators. Nomination number 2 goes to Eddie Betts of the Predators also. Played 16 games at an average of 13.31. Mitch Clark of the Fusion, 10 games at an average of 17.9. And Sean Higgins of the
Hot Dog
Sydney Rage, played 12 games at an average of 16.17.
Yeah.
So,
Mitch Clark,
straight out.
Andrew Swallow.
Well, I'm hoping Mitch Clark's going to win it.
Swallow doesn't get a mention.
Oh.
He's a nomination. For those of you who don't know already, the award from now on for the Rookie of the Year, or the Breakthrough Rookie of the Year, Rising Star Award, it hasn't got a name yet. It'll be named by Sunday. The rules are the player has to be under 23 by the time the last game of the season has been played, which this year it was August the 2nd. And they have to have played less than 6 games, so 5 or less games before the start of the season. So that's so guys like Daniel Rich and a lot of the rookies this year, the Vipers rookie Rich.
What Rich average?
Trying to think of. Don't put me on the spot right here. I can't really tell you that right now. It's about 14 or 15 points, I think. So.
How many games?
So you're going Clark?
I think he only played about 4 games, so he wasn't eligible. They'll be eligible next year. So you're going Clark.
You're obviously going Clark.
Well, I'm going
Bang
Clark.
Bang.
I'm hoping that he wins, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a tough one, because Clark didn't play as many games.
But he was the more dominant.
Yeah, he did score more. But someone like Kurt Tippett, who was there consistently for
he was a good pickup for the Predators.
For a mediocre
considering they didn't have a ruckman, so...
For,
2 blokes that were drafted as forwards.
We're going to have to go out of those 2 there. And, I'm going to lean towards Tippett.
Yeah, so 2 Clarks and a Tippett.
That's it. Moving on
to Coach of the Year. I haven't got any nominations for you, but straight out, who you think is Coach of the Year? Guy McKenna?
Yep.
Well, that'd be ironic, wouldn't it?
Just a little.
Who wants the Coach of the Year coach on their footy club next year? The Hurricanes interested?
They may be. Suma's still there, so we'll see what happens with Suma. I'm not privy to what the club and the ownership are thinking about. But
how many more games did the Gladiators win this year than last year?
They finished second last year, so. But who do you give it to? Neesham's got the sack.
Yeah, well, Peter Bell's coaching you then.
Peter Bell coached them to the finals, so maybe Peter Bell's up for Coach of the Year.
You have to go Archer, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, Archer's on top.
He's only lost 2 games during the regular season. We don't count finals in this award.
I'll tell you what, Neesham would have been up there for the award, I reckon, had he not have been sacked.
Yeah, why would you sack him right before the finals?
Well, there's 2 sackings. We've only had 2 sackings of coaches thus far.
What's the owner's
name?
name?
Jankovic up there, you reckon?
Tristan Reid, I think, the owner of the Gladiators at the moment.
I don't know, but whoever he is, he's a fool.
I've heard him
a few times.
I've heard about him.
Yeah.
So
knows nothing about the game, this fella.
Well, maybe there must have been some underlying reasons. We'll have to ask him about that.
He must be a quiet fella if no one's heard of him.
Jack Zabil, broken leg. Adam Simpson, retired.
Yeah. Great first round pickups.
Anyway, Glenn Archer, he'd have to get the vote, I reckon.
No, I'm going to have to maybe agree with you there.
Last year's winner was Nathan Buckley of the War Dogs, but they finished lower than they did last year on the ladder. They were the best record.
Actually, coach of the Firebirds.
James Hird. He's had 2 good consistent years there now.
Where they finished? They were a bit down.
4th, was it?
8th or something last year.
3rd.
I'm going to go with Glenn Archer.
Glenn Archer. Yeah.
Oh, you find that surprising coming out of my mouth, considering he coaches the enemy, but
anyway,
I reckon Glenn Archer.
Next award, or was that the final?
That's the last award we're going to talk about.
All right, what are we moving on to the grand final?
We're going to talk about the grand final.
The big game.
All right, so this is the game we're going to play next for a couple of minutes. who... You're not going to go the Fusion, are you?
I don't care.
You don't really care?
I'll go Fusion. It's
All right,
fine
so
by me.
the coach is going to pretend that he is, I don't know, Nigel Smart. Press conference, you're Nigel Smart. Why are the
Would you
Fusion-
ever put coach and smart in the same sentence?
Coach and
What
Smart?
about Smart Coach?
It's definitely not you.
Well, Smart is the coach.
Well,
And the coach is Smart.
how do we beat the War Dogs?
You're not
I'm gonna twist my head upside down.
You don't have to pretend you're Nigel Smart, but if you were the coach, how are you going to beat the
Make
War
it
Dogs
snappy.
on Sunday?
Well, you shut down Swan and to a lesser extent, probably Swan and Goodwin. Stop the drive into Favola and, well, just Favola. If the Fusion stop Swan and Favola, they win.
Yep, fair enough.
That's all we have to do.
Simple
We win. And I reckon we'll
You're
get...
exposing Jess White in the ruck there with
Bren-
Mitch Clark, the way he's playing at the moment.
Yep, Brendan Goddard will do a job, I reckon.
Yeah, he's good running off the
He'll
back
do a
line.
job. I reckon he might even bob up for a few goals.
Brendan?
Yep.
Big God?
He
Big
could,
God?
He could get... He
Trying to
could
be
get
God?
up around the 30s in this game.
Well, that'd be great to see. So there's your tip for the player of the grand final, the medal.
BJ Goddard.
Alright, I'm getting the wind-up over there from... he must be the producer of the show. The buckets over there.
Should be.
The
Alright, so
Canberra War Dogs, how
so
are you
I'm
going to
gonna
win
be
the
the
game?
War Dogs.
How are you going to win the game?
Well,
Put the
I
pressure
think
on
we take a
Johnson.
bit of a different tactic to what they did last week. I think you'll find when Swan and that tried, instead of just playing the normal game, we're a bit more trying to play a bit more man to man and worry about what their opposition player was doing. I think this week you just take the Fusion on head to head, as in just let the players run free.
So forget the defensive tactics.
Forget the
they
defensive,
chose.
just go all out attack
Well, that'd
and
be great.
have a shootout for the grand final.
That'll be good to see. The exciting
think-
grand final.
I think the cream will rise to the top, and the likes of Swan and Didak will carve up the Fusion.
So you're
midfield.
pretty much saying the way that I
And-
said it, but the
So
opposite.
the opposite, yep. But
Well, that's fair enough, considering you said that's how they're going to win it.
Favola dominates, War Dogs win. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
no, I think it's more a Dane Swan.
But Favola won't dominate.
And Bucket's just got bloody knobs on Dane Swan because he used to play for the Hurricanes back in the day.
I'm a little bit of a fan of Dane Swan.
You like a bit of the artwork there?
Yeah,
You've
you
got
like
Dane
the-
Beans up there at the goal.
I've got little
Gold
Swanee in
Coast.
my
You
team.
like the little gimps with the coloured arms with their fake tattoos.
So, tips for the grand final.
Fusion!
Bang Bang thinks that Fusion are going to win by much.
Was that was just a general consensus from the crowd? I thought.
Oh, for the massive crowd that we've got here.
Yeah, no, I'm going for the Fusion. Obviously, I'll be there with me scarf on. Me
Coach?
Hate to say it, but I reckon the Fusion will
Yes!
finally break through. It really does hurt me to say it.
Kiss of death. You're going to lose now.
shit.
I don't know.
I'm not
Going on
confident.
last week, I'd have to say the Fusion as well, but
Home ground's big advantage.
We're Geelong of the '90s, I reckon.
yeah, I'm going to go the War Dogs just to be different. You can't all go the Fusion here. Somebody's got to go different.
Well, I'd rather someone actually went the War Dogs. So
War
that,
Dogs,
hey, everyone
War Dogs
tip
is
the Fusion
owned
and we go
by a
down.
black man, so do you think...
Oh, Vesh, Dynamite in. War Dogs, Premiers, Fusion once again runners up. So, hope to see everyone at the grand final on the weekend.
I won't be there.
What? Neither would I, but I hope to see everyone else there. Anyone who actually gives two fucking rats clackers about it.
Alright, so that's it. That's a wrap for the Big Footy Fix Grand Final Preview Edition for this week. Thanks for listening, everyone out there. We'll see you on Sunday at the Grand Final.
Stay tuned for Buckets one-on-one with all the owners. Look out for that.
And we'll be back next week anyway for a wrap-up of the season, so stay tuned.
And you might see Barry Hall smack Buckets out.
How's it sound? Give us Barry. There we go.
Take that, Buckets!